Everyone, mark your calendars. The BDO retreat is back for its 5th and final year, and we're taking you to sunny Key Largo, Florida on January 16th and 17th. This is not some typical stuffy conference. I'm talking real strategy, real takeaways, and real conversation and growth with the best in the biz. We're talking game-changing workshops, killer conversations over dinner, and sunsets that'll make you even forget you're on a work trip. Spots are limited. Tap the link in the show notes to register now.
Warning: the views and opinions expressed in this program are our own and/or those of our guests. They do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of our employers. Viewers' discretion is advised.
Unless you want to go do a bunch of random $200,000 startup deals, just don't go. What am I doing there? You're not the absolute best, most competitive type of bank to be working in that specific deal type. You're just going to get gobbled up.
Some people may find this controversial. I was, as soon as you said let's not print them, I said I hated them all these years anyways. So
this is going on our Patreon, so we're able to talk freely here. Do you remember when you were first doing these intros? Do you remember the first time?
Awful.
I was listening behind the scenes and it took forever.
It was awful. It still sometimes it still does because I cannot get those boys to shut up and then I have to redo it. It's good now. I still keep it open for reference, but I don't really need it anymore. But that was rough.
No, it's
Dude,
these guys make you work under pressure, which is good. It's a good training ground for going into the Navy SEALs.
Literally the Navy SEALs. And then they don't mind when I shut them up in a very polite way, but also I've known them for so long. So I will say, I was telling Madison, I was I thought it would be funny to make a BDO show compilation of me saying, hey everyone, welcome back to the BDO show from start to finish, every single time I ever introed a show, and then just to see the difference of everything. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, Madison, if you ever have some free time on your hands and you want to go
She's
make
got no free time. Hey everyone, welcome back to the BDO show. We are doing a takeover episode. We have some thoughts and ideas behind the scene that we wanted to talk about when the boys aren't around, and I've enlisted our trusty leader, Ray Drew, to help out with some of these episodes. Specifically today, we wanted to talk about kind of conferences and trade shows, and we will go ahead and get into it. At the beginning of each episode, I will always remind you to subscribe, and send topics and suggestions to the BDO Show at artofsba.com. And do not forget to check out our whole family of shows, SBA Today, which airs live every week, as well as our flagship program, the Art of SBA Lending Podcast. Okay, BDOs, it's story time. And no, I am not talking about the time Sterling tried to finance a zoo. You'll have to go back to episode 3 for that. I'm talking about the story that your borrower has in their head, and they may need that extra boost to finally get it onto paper. Rapid Business Plans is a known and trusted partner that can help them do just that. Whether your borrowers are working towards acquiring a business, starting one up, or expanding and making moves, within just a few short days, Rapid Business Plans will deliver powerful, fast, SBA and USDA ready business plans with projections and assumptions. If they need an export business plan for an ITL loan or a feasibility study, they have you covered there too. We know this process is not a walk in the park, or should I say zoo. Let the Rapid Business Plans team take some of the wild out of the process so that your borrower's vision and passions can come to life. For more information or to get acquainted, email Bethany McClellan at bethany@rapidbusinessplans.com or click the link in the show notes. Today's episode, we are going to get into, like I said, conferences and trade shows, which, funny enough, this is exactly where Ray and I met for the first time in 2021 in Orlando, Florida, at a veterinary trade show. We had just been working together since maybe December. I can't remember when you were onboarded, 2020 or 2021.
December 2020. And that was a horrible conference. It was right after COVID, and it was just...
It was horrible. People were wearing masks. They were funneling you in one door and out the other. It was all very wild. The best part about the entire show is there were 3 things.
Oh, I remember that dinner with that random doctor. Is that what you're gonna say?
That was. I wasn't gonna mention that, but yes, she was.
Well,
this is going
on our Patreon, so we're able to talk freely here. Let's give people the real stories.
Well, she was bombed, went to dinner with another colleague, and we had to walk her to her room, whatever. The three things I was going to say that came out of this. Number one, there was a puppy directly across from where we were standing the whole time. So like I got to pet this little lab puppy that was like in training to be a service dog. So number two, meeting Ray, obviously, and realizing that we are the same height. So I thought, for some reason, I thought you were going to be like 6'2", and then I was like, oh, me and Ray are the
Wait,
same height.
First of all, I've never heard of that. Second of all, I'm just glad to be the same height as you and not shorter. So, because you're
No, you're not. You're a little taller than me. But and then the third thing was meeting Chris Hackney. I thought that was really great because
yeah,
you had already known him and I didn't.
yeah.
And then I got to meet Rose and everything that came along with it. And I got to see the setup and the breakdown of booths and just the hustle and bustle and the conversations and
The
how
hustle and bustle. And this conference was in the 1920s. I take it.
the hustle and bustle of the veterinary trade show. No, it was actually a lot of fun. It was very insightful. It was the moment where I think Ray and I discovered that we were going to be a good
Did we just
team.
become best friends?
Yeah, that was literally the did we just become best friend moment. And it was awesome because he gave me a massive shout out with the company and said, Emily's built for this. She's made for this. She didn't really know what she was doing, but throwing me to the wolves is kind of good for me. And so that's how I learn. And I love that I kind of hit the boots or hit the ground running. But anyway, so we wanted to kind of chit chat about all of that today because, between learning it, you sort of just wing it to becoming a conference and trade show pro. Um,
Well, and Emily, let me just jump in there because yeah, we're going to be talking about a lot of different things. You're going to take us through it all, but this is one of the topics that I'm basically a conference mastermind, and it's one of my secrets to success that I have not talked about as much. So today I am going to be giving away all of my secrets.
Everybody listen up. So we kind of wanted to talk about first, like the realities of conference life. You don't just show up to show up. Some people get to. I get that. I, on the other hand, we start a year in advance. As soon as the conference is over, the planning begins. And
Hold
then
on,
you kind of,
Emily, we got to back up the train. Let's really set the stage here, and I want to go methodically here. Before you even get to a conference, you've got to figure out what your shop is good at, where your value lies, and where you should go and what conferences you should attend. I remember
mhm,
I went to the IBBA conference when I was at ReadyCap, and when I was at ReadyCap, I was doing mostly real estate. And so I show up to a conference that has a bunch of business acquisitions. What am I doing there? I think a lot of us just want to go to the conference because they see other people going to the conference and they think that they're going to just go there and find deals, but that is absolutely not the right strategy. So like I completely wasted a lot of time and money going to that conference, because now you see that conference has like 40, 50 banks. And, if you're not the absolute best, like most competitive type of bank to be working in that specific deal type, you're just going to get gobbled up.
yeah, I agree. And I do think a lot of people attend some of these conferences and are like, I don't really know that they had an idea what they were really getting themselves into. And like you said, they kind of go in with no strategy and time, resources, and money with your lender are out the window. So it is good to understand the space you're in, why you're there, who's there, and what exactly your goal and outcome are for attending the conference.
And don't ever go to a small business expo.
Why? Tell the people why.
It sounds like a good idea, but it's just too broad. Most of us are fairly specialized in what we can do. And, unless you want to go do a bunch of random $200,000 startup deals, just don't go. It's just something it's in all these markets all across the country. And, everyone's going to learn that the hard way. No, shout out to the Small Business Expo, but it's just not good for BDOs.
Well, and actually, this is going to be some uncharted waters here a little bit. Aren't we going to be getting into manufacturing now too? Which is we've never really been to shows like that
Wasn't
before.
quite prepared to announce that one yet, Emily, but
Oh, you can take it out.
no, I don't care. I don't care.
Oh.
I just actually recorded the trailer for my new podcast, which is
Oh.
about manufacturing. So we're
Oh.
about to ramp
Well,
that
yeah.
up. Yeah.
Well, that's exciting. But yeah, so I guess if I don't know if there's like any particular secrets you want to give away right now, but I was gonna sort of get into, the beginning of conferences, and it's just like, managing your burnout a little bit and staying productive on the road, because that can be hard when you're with people and people you don't.
I just have a different take here. Go get burnt out. It's going to take you 10 years, but go do it and have a little fun, get it out of your system. The biggest thing for me is the ROI, and it's not even like ROI like I think sometimes people think they're just going to show up to a conference and get business. Just not how it works. Here's what it should look like. When you're at the conference, you have scheduled meetings, and during the booth, people are coming looking for you at your booth. Now, it's not like you standing at the booth and then some random stranger walks to your booth and says, "I would like to give you my business." That's like just not how it works. So
Nope.
you're gonna grind, and I mean, it's so competitive. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. And you were absolutely right when you said it starts about a year in advance. You can go to a conference to go find new referral sources, but more importantly, you should be going to the conferences that your existing referral sources are already going to, because you've got to play defense and then further and strengthen those relationships.
Hmm.
That's I just think people have this all wrong.
Yeah, I agree, because a lot of it is like, okay, you're there like, I want to make all these new connections and I just want to meet all these people. You're like, all right, well, let's find the people that we do know as well and who have been, kind of loyal and giving you business, as well as, checking in. And then it's also, like you said, it's about strengthening your current connections and creating new ones, but not placing 100% emphasis on just meeting new people, because there are a lot of people in that room who have been on your side and like had your back the whole year or for years. So it is a good way to connect. You said have a little fun with it. Go grab drinks, catch
Well,
up.
let's go and talk about the actual strategies that BDOs can use to when it comes to these conferences and trade shows. I want to start right off the bat with, like, this is an opportunity to think different, to be creative, and to innovate. I challenge everything. Like, if it's the norm and people expect it, I want to do the opposite, because the entire name of the game when it comes to going into a room literally next to all of your competitors, the only thing you need to do is stand out. You don't need
Mhm.
to sell all your crap to them right there in the trade show hall, and you don't have to close a deal. Your only strategy is just stand out. So, Emily, what are some of the things that you've seen that I've been like kind of, I guess, what a contrarian when it comes to the conference strategies?
I do know for a fact that when we create, let's talk about email blasts. And this is something that I'm still working on as I'm getting into the role, but I know that you have to stand out in a pile of hundreds of emails that we get bogged down with every single day. And so to have some, very boring subject line or something that's not, and we get them all the time. We get these automated send all emails to everybody. So whether they're personalized or they stand out, something exciting in the subject line, like, oh, I wonder what Truliant's up to. I wonder what Ray has been up to.
Well, no, let's stop right there, Emily. That's exactly right. If
Yeah.
if if you are sending an email blast leading up to a conference that says, "Hey, we're gonna be at the conference. Come by booth 52," it's going
Yeah.
directly in the trash.
Trash. It already was trash to begin with. So let's be honest there.
Like, think big. Build a campaign around this. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? Like, there's got to be more to it. Some ideas for this. You can record a video and email a link to the video. That's like a personalized video to someone. I've done that. I've got a 50% open rate on it. It's unheard of. Um, and actually, I think it was higher than that. I'd have to go back and check. But I remember it was like very strong. And then another one is just like, maybe you're incorporating something else in there. Maybe, the email leads you to the booth leads you to some sort of game or some other scavenger hunt or whatever, but it all gets connected. Now, one thing I don't do anymore, which this is probably a little controversial, but the giveaways at the booth, total scam. Who invented this?
Yeah. And this year, at one of the conferences, it was mandatory to give away a giveaway.
So I get it. I mean, it's like, put your business card in the bowl for a chance to win an iPod Shuffle. Do they still make iPod Shuffles?
No, I don't know. I don't think so. You could have picked anything else in the
A
world. A
kin
Yeti, an Apple
a
Watch, a
Kindle
bottle of
a Kindle
tequila.
Fire.
Yeah, okay. Still corny, but whatever.
If I won a Kindle Fire, I would give it back.
I'm never gonna use this. Give it to your grandma. Hey guys, we have a special announcement for anybody involved in M&A transactions. Our partner, Peak Business Valuation, have put together a resource just for BDO Show listeners, and they're giving it away for free. It lists out the rule of thumb formulas, or as Krogi would like to say, the down and dirty, for some of the most common industries that SBA lenders finance. I promise you it's going to come in handy. Krogi's literally still using the one he got from Nagel in 2002. By the way, if you're not thinking about evaluation at the pre-screen phase, you are missing the boat. A lot of BDOs tend to focus on the debt service coverage and they're missing the valuation completely. That's a rookie move and it will become a problem. As a consultative BDO, you should have a sense of whether the business is going to value out. And Peak's handy dandy rule of thumb is here to help. Go to peakbizval.com/BDO show to get yours today.
No, but I mean, you already get the list. So all you're doing is giving away whatever, an electronic or a Yeti cooler. And you're probably just giving it to someone you want to give it to because it's a scam.
I also don't like that people will come by your booth and just see what you have and drop a card.
Right,
I'm like,
right.
okay, well, what was that all about? Why did I just take the time to buy a $500 item and then you're not even going to talk or hang out, or it did nothing other than somebody just wanted to win the
It's
thing? And I'm
so
like,
it's so like,
yeah,
look, if the only reason you can get someone to talk to you is because they think they're gonna get something from you, like a prize, it's just you're starting off on the wrong. You really think you're gonna turn that into a meaningful relationship? I don't
no,
know. I don't know. And then the other thing is, the other controversial thing I said we should stop doing is printing flyers and
we
having them at the
stopped. And I
booth.
agree.
Who
It's
who is going home with the flyer and filing it in their filing cabinet so that
nobody.
in 3 months, when they need an SBA lender, they go to their filing cabinet and look at no. What are
I
we
threw
doing?
away hundreds of sell sheets. I've been throwing them away for years. I've probably thrown away 100 trees. Here's the thing. You do not need a sell sheet if you are having a meaningful conversation at your booth. If you are standing out, it's this exact thing that we first said. You're standing out, you're having a good conversation. It doesn't even need to be about work, but you stood out and they know what you do. They'll remember you. Your sell sheet is irrelevant. They're probably going to leave it on the hotel room and some maid's going to have to throw it away for them anyways. So it's just I agree, and even though some people may find this controversial, I was as soon as you said, "Let's not print them," I said, I hated them all these years anyways, so I'm on the
Yeah.
same page.
And by the way, so I think IBBA was probably the biggest show we've been to this past year that was
Mhm.
successful, and you wanna create a buzz going in. So this is why everything you're doing from a marketing standpoint is sort of integrated, because we had, and this is in large part thanks to Emily, we had a really strong social media, kind of LinkedIn marketing campaign that was consistently running from the time we all came to True Lion to the conference. And I think that helps because you're not showing up as someone that, like, we're all on LinkedIn these days. So you at least see the brand, you see us, and it gives you a little bit of an introduction before we actually get to the conference. And I think going into the conference with a buzz is just one more way to help differentiate yourself.
Yeah, I totally agree with that too, especially with, like, it's not just some long-winded, insane paragraph that everybody has to sift through on LinkedIn. It's video. It's reels, it's YouTube presence. They're putting a face to the name, and now you are directly related to, the brand or your lender. And I like that too because I think we can get kind of lost on LinkedIn with too many words, like on a piece of paper or like on a post. And I'm always like, oh, short and sweet is typically the name of my game. But if you can throw in some images or kind of tie yourself in, I agree with that as well.
And I mean, yeah, and we're not really bankers by trade. And
We're
bank
not wearing suits at conferences, people. We are not bankers.
bankers are notoriously bad at marketing, and you see that because you go through the trade show hall, and this was the case for so many years, but it's still the case today. And you see these people who printed the pop-up banners with like 10,000 words on them. We
Yeah.
have like 4 words on our thing, and we have a double wide. Let's talk about the booth. Okay, so I'm taking us in a few different directions. My bad. I'm just getting so excited.
I
But
know.
you again, what's the purpose of going to this conference? To protect your existing relationships and further them, and to create some new ones. And so let's just talk about creating new ones for a second. That's going to happen sometimes in the exhibit hall. The exhibit hall, you've got 50 different booths there. Uh, so the main goal in my head for the booth is just to invite people in and to stand out
Mhm.
and to be remembered. And so I'm not trying to sell everything at the booth. I'm not trying to put every single value proposition I can think of on a flyer. We literally just have, and we got a double wide booth, and we have lighting. And I think the lighting, I would say if you're on the fence about lighting, I mean, lighting, it's more set up. You need electricity, but I feel like it adds a lot to the booth. So if you want to go big, I think the lighting really helps. The double wide is something that only a few people do, and it instantly makes you feel like a more premium and a more of a market leader because you've
Yep.
just got more space. We've got 6 people there. So it just feels like we're building all this energy. These are all calculated decisions we're making. And then we get rid of the table, we put a little podium, and we all stand. And consistently, when we go to conferences, we're memorable, and people come in and talk, and there's always a lot of stuff going on by our booth. These are the ingredients that we're putting into making that happen.
And if you look at our backlit booth, it doesn't have a random stock imaged person with 1,000 things that we offer. It just says Truliant SBA lending with a sun. That's it. That's it. Because we can explain what we do, and people are going to walk up and say, "Hey, I saw you guys on LinkedIn," or I've heard of your name, or what have you. And then you can drive the conversation from there. You can talk about maybe some live deals they have in their pipeline, or you can just talk to talk. I think that the busier it is behind you, I've never liked all that either. And I'm on the same page. So we kept our pop-up banner simple. We kept our illuminated backdrop simple. Even the podium, even though I do think the illumination is a nice touch. And it really wasn't that much more than non-illuminated, just so everybody knows. You just got to find the right vendor. But I think it was a nice touch, the double booth space, widening the space versus I don't know, this is another thing. So I don't mind sponsoring those cocktail hours and, doing those breakout or the morning breakfast where you have a branded napkin, but I would have rather had double booth space that invited more people in so that my people aren't like flowing into the aisle and like just happen. Did Krogi just join an accident? Can you kick him out?
Oh, am I early? My bad. I always just put
Yeah.
it on and have it in the background. Sorry, guys.
You're so weird. Who does that? Everybody, when I tell you that Ryan Kroger is an old man, he just joined a podcast 20 minutes early for no reason. He's so
That is
crazy.
crazy.
But yeah, no, I do agree. I think the double booth presence and the illumination and the minimal words is the way to go. Um, and we're not sitting there. Just people aren't guessing what we do. They're just coming up and asking, "Hey, what do you do? How are you?" That's the point. This is the point. That is how we all got started, 5, 6, 7 years ago is who are you? Right. I mean, we obviously have a bigger LinkedIn presence. We have a couple of our shows that we're all on. So people know who we are, but it's just like even the newer guys, I loved sending them out there. And I remember talking to Shem. He's like, "This is my first conference. Can I talk to you?" And I was like, "Yes." And so he called me and he goes, "What do I do?" I go, "What you do best. Just talk to people." And he's like, "Well, is there any kind of strategy?" I go, "Yeah, just talk to people as they walk by, talk." And I know that he has no problem with that. Some people aren't as chatty or creative or exciting. So just putting yourself out there, just like I said, I was at that conference with you in 2021 and I didn't know I was there for our parent company. I wasn't there really for SBA. You were kind of checking the scene to see what it would be like through the parent company. I was just talking to women about I like their shoes, or I'd say like I love your tie. Like I would just have conversations or, oh, I play golf too. And then they kind of got drawn in and then we started talking business and I kind of handed it over to the experts. So again, you might not know what to talk about or what to do, but just start having conversations and then you're going to see these people for the next 2 days. It will snowball into something at some point. I promise you.
Yeah, give them the full court press. I mean, if you are thinking that this conference or this group or this trade show is worth your time and the money of the bank, then this list that they're giving you of people involved in that organization or whatever, it warrants a full court press of marketing and sales. You're obviously thinking that you have some value to add to this entire group. So, they should be put into an email drip campaign. You should be calling them. You should
Mhm.
add them all on LinkedIn. You should try to set up meetings when you're there. And this marketing strategy should continue in perpetuity. And it should be a multi-year effort. It's a long game. You want to hopefully get some ROI within 12 months of attending the conference so that you can kind of justify going back. But hopefully you can get more than just one deal in the long run. But you've got to keep at it.
In your, like, experience of, you've been conferencing and doing marketing for a very long time now, what do you think about the email campaigns? Like, what's other than, standing out in an inbox, what do you kind of see for the body and, like, other than the videos and the images, like, where does your brain go when you start to drum up an idea of getting into people's like, getting in front of their face?
Now we're getting a little deep into my real secret sauce here,
Yeah,
Emily. I think the written word is so powerful, and I think email marketing is the second most powerful thing you could be doing right now, next to video.
and
Um,
it's cheap. It doesn't cost a lot to do
yeah, it's
those.
actually probably the best thing to do because it is so cheap.
Yep.
The ROI is infinite. The thought that goes into the email, it needs to kind of be original. It needs to be value add, and they have to open it. So first and foremost, and we always do this. We talk about the subject line. The subject line is obviously the most important part of the entire email blast because you've got to get them to open it. A lot of times, people want to summarize the email in there, and that's not the point. Summarizing the email might make conventional sense for most people, but true marketers are crafting the subject line so that they open it. So like explain what I mean by that.
I mean, I can talk about our most recent email blast that I thought was genius. We wanted to send out an email about SOP updates, and everybody's gonna send like, "Oh, SOP update, SOP update. What happened recently?" Okay, yeah, we get it. But Ray came up with new SOP who dis. Like, that is just, like, the best idea because he had fun with it. He didn't overthink it. It was just everybody knows that saying, but no matter what age you are, and we just added some SBA fun to it. We didn't go crazy just like new SOP who dis. Like, it just have fun with it. In
That was
my,
fun.
personal opinion, it seems like, again, you're having fun with what you're doing. You're not just making it this, like, vanilla, bland, read all about it, bore you to sleep email. It's like, okay, some major things happen. Let's break it down in so that anybody, whether you knew SBA or not, could read it and understand what those changes were. That was honestly the best part of the email. I could have given it to my mother and she would have been like, "Wow, I understand that." Like, that was great. And I thought that I think that's huge to not go banana land in an email with like all these crazy things.
I want to give my last hot tip. So we talked about a lot of controversial stances that I've been taking, and I would argue that we have one of the most effective, conference marketing strategies out there. Um, Last one is we stopped writing the big checks.
Yeah, we did.
We reallocated that money towards the dinners and stuff.
Yep. So I think one of the conferences in 2023 that we went to, I did the math. I'm pretty sure we spent just under $30,000 for one show between the booth. We had flooring, we had, planters, we had And then we had 4 different sponsorships and all these digital campaigns through and I love the conferences for what they offer, but we decided to personalize the hell out of our presence there. So we, instead of branding a napkin for $12,000 and maybe people not showing up to their breakfast, everyone's hungover or whatever, catching up on work, we took everybody out to a or a beautiful like dinner, and you could invite a plus one, or you could, you know, just meet somebody on the floor that day. We kept open spots for some connection that they made, like, hey, join us for dinner. And we did that in 2020, but we also did that on top of the spending we did in 2023. And then we realized how much more meaningful it was to our new connections and existing connections. But we just spent, I don't know, $28,000 less.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So the dinners are great, and I think it's memorable. And so it does go with kind of our overall strategy of what we're trying to accomplish. But let me ask you this, because this could be my most controversial one yet, and I'm not advocating for this yet, but I am curious to hear your thoughts.
I already feel like I know what you're going to say, and I don't know what you're going to say.
The giveaways. Okay.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, like, take a broker to Europe for a weekend and hang out, because you say the craziest stuff.
I'm just saying the giveaways are sort of along the same lines of, the other stuff that we're just getting rid of. I'll say this, I'm not against giveaways, but the only giveaways I want to give are giveaways that somebody will take, use, and always see our logo.
I still till this day have the reigning like number one giveaway that we ever give away, because I agree with you, and I've kept them cheap, because when you go through your vendor, you can look at your price point and you can keep them under $2 per item, or even 90 cents options, just to have a little something. But again, do you really need to spend $2,000 on mints and sanitizer? No, there's gonna be hundreds of them there. But I will say the best giveaway I ever did, we were in Florida, and I had dry bags branded, and everybody there had a boat. They were like, "Oh my god, I love dry bags." And I was like, "I know," 'cause
That was a good one.
it was so good. And then we were at the pool before we left, and we were all kind of decompressing before our flights. Everybody had all their stuff in their dry bags at the pool, and I was like, "Hands down, we'll never come up with anything that cool ever again. We can stop making giveaways at this
Yeah,
point."
you got to go slightly premium, if not premium,
Yeah.
just really creative. Like, I think you've done an incredible job sourcing giveaways. We always seem to have something that's cool. My only question is, just because somebody comes here and they judge everyone's giveaways, like I do it too. I go to the table, it's like, oh, this is good, this is good. But
Yeah, same.
when does that translate to business?
No, it just means that you were savvy enough to pick a cool thing to hand out 100 of them. I mean, I don't really know that I don't know that it drums up business. I mean, I see people walk by with their like whatever free bag at whatever, and then they're just loading things in like they're shopping. And I'm like, okay, well, that's a waste. But then there's some people that come by and they're like genuinely excited. But no, I don't think it drums up business. I think that one person did it one time and then everybody followed suit, kind of like the sell sheets, kind of like the busy backdrops. It's like one person did it and everybody followed. And so I think
Yeah.
breaking the mold on some of these conference traditions or trends is a way to stand out. So no, I don't know. I really
I,
liked our pop-up
yeah.
dog bowls though,
I
but
did. Those were good. And I could go either way on it. And the prime energy, like, or prime, like, dehydration stuff. It's all good stuff. Like, we have good
hydration,
stuff.
not dehydration.
Anti-dehydration.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta hydrate, during those conferences because you can experience fatigue, and so that's where my brain went. But I don't know. There's some intention behind some of those things that we're doing, but then the rest of it's like, okay, filler crap, here's a bunch of mints, because now for some reason, I think we need to do giveaways in threes because everybody else does. So where did I come up with that? I
Yeah.
don't exactly know. So yeah,
Well,
it's kind of
stay tuned for next year or later this fall, and you may see some barren tables around our trade show booth.
I think we should give away puppies, like in the Bridesmaids movie, where everybody walked into the bridal shower and she handed everybody a puppy.
I'm gonna challenge you to make the giveaway so creative, like just completely out there for this fall.
I'm going to give away recorders so everybody can play hot cross buns while they're walking around the conference floor. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, there you go.
I really should. Just give away recorders. Middle or kindergarten unlocked 101.
Hot cross buns up in this thing.
All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and end the episode with a little bit of parting advice from Ray Drew on the trade show conference trail. Go.
Just be different. Don't overthink it. Don't sell. Just be different, stand out, and that's your first step to I just pulled an Emily.
Yep, and you messed up. We can keep it in. It was good.
All right, that's fine. All right.
And then my advice is what I'm learning from Ray, my biggest takeaway is to not be so serious with the outreach. Have fun and just be yourself, because I think a lot of people try to fit into this mold or this square of what everyone else is doing, and the way you stand out is to not be like everyone else.
I'm humbled and honored to announce this closing to the LinkedIn community. Like,
Exactly.
Just stop.
Stand out, be different, have fun, and we will see you next time.